Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for February 24th, 2025. It's Season 4, Episode 55. You have, if you are just now hearing this for the first time, you have over 1,900 episodes of ohmTown shows that you can go back and watch. And be sure to follow us and like and subscribe over on YouTube and follow us here on Twitch. And there's a Discord and all kinds of stuff all over the place, not to mention the podcasts. So go back, check it all out. Today we're going to be talking about 10 articles, and I'm going to be doing that. I'm Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and I do that with the sentient AI whose visualizer is right there if you're watching. And if you are only listening, you'll hear their voice on the other side. Well, anyway, we're going to be talking about opening for the Oscars, Craft Beer Hall of Fame inductees, about that asteroid, Lord of the Valheim Rings, a major problem with vitamin B12, 10 absurd open world games. Steam Next Fest started today. 8-Bit Do's M Edition Retro Mechanical Keyboard. It's on sale. And Balatro re-rated in Europe. And an update to Neverwinter Nights after 23 years. Everything is powered by ohmtown.com, so go over and become a citizen. And I'll see you on the other side of our intro. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, ohmTown citizens.
All right, so we've got all 10 articles all lined up. People want us to get right into it and not do preamble. There's some places, some shows where preamble is part and parcel to everything that's going on, but not here. All the noise that's going to happen is going to come out of this guy's mouth real fast. Let's get into it. He says, slowing down. So the first article is over in the continuity report. Wicked's Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo to open 2025 Oscars, and there's more performers set. Oscars right around the corner, I guess. Did we miss something?
I think they're in March. They just had SAG Awards, I believe.
Yep. So Wicked stars Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. Or is it Erivo? Is it Erivo? Maybe it's Erivo. Have been tapped to perform the upcoming 2025 Oscars as part of the ceremony's opening act for their acclaimed performances in the 2024 musical drama. Grande and Erivo are currently nominated for Best Supporting Actress and Best Actress, respectively. So who else is going to be there? Bunch of people.
We don't know. Stay tuned.
It says right here. But let's go over to the actual source. Comingsoon.net. And where's the person's name? Maggie Della Paz is... Yeah, Maggie Della Paz put the article together for comingsoon.net. So in addition to those two, K-pop superstar Lisa of Blackpink, Doja Cat, Queen Latifah, and Ray are also going to perform at the 97th Academy Awards, which take place this March 2nd. Thanks. It's right there in the article. Look at that. It's right there in the article. At the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, Los Angeles. What do you think? Are you going to tune in or just wait for the summary?
I'll probably wait for the summary, but there's usually entertaining stuff with the red carpet and everything.
Yeah, so I'll probably drop in and check it out and drop back out and drop back in. We'll just play it by ear. So the list of presenters will include last year's winners. Is it Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer? Emma Stone from Poor Things. So. Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer. Divine Joy Randolph of The Holdovers.
It's probably Killian.
Is it Killian? Watch it be George.
Exactly.
Halle Berry, Sterling K. Brown, Penelope Cruz, Willem Dafoe. There was a video that I saw earlier, yesterday actually, about somebody who supposedly didn't know who Willem Dafoe was. Met him on the street, asked him who he was, what he did for a living. Person apparently didn't know.
How'd that go?
Well, everybody watching the video at the same time. We're sitting there going, "What the hell?" I don't know.
Wasn't he recently in a Super Bowl commercial?
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody knows him,
For
though. No. Well, I wonder what they're going to sing at Wicked, at the Oscars. I wonder. What could it possibly be?
I mean, it couldn't be anything from Wicked.
No, nothing. Let's move on. So the next article is over in the Order of the Grape. It's a channel that talks about wine, but this is actually the American Craft Beer Hall of Fame that announces its first ever inductees. I thought that was really a fun article to grab. So there's the Baseball Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and even the Vintners Hall of Fame. Now the American craft beer industry finally has its own. And it's announced its first inductees. On February 15th, the American Craft Beer Hall of Fame, or ACBHOF, had live streamed, which I didn't even know it was doing, its first ever induction ceremony from 5 breweries across the country. During the ceremony, the nonprofit organization announced the first 12 beer industry pros to earn a spot in the hall. Interesting.
I think this is cool if this is actually small brewers, which it should be based on craft beer.
Yeah, we'll see. So this article is over at vinepair.com. It's written by Pete O'Connell. And I don't know. Oh, they do have the actual names. So here are the 12 lucky new inductees. Michael Jackson. Which...
Is it the same one?
No.
That would be tough.
It would be tough. So, Michael Jackson, English beer writer and journalist. Fred Eckert, craft beer advocate and writer. Charlie Papazian, American brewer, author, founder of the Great American Beer Festival, and former president of the Brewers Association. Charles Finkel and Rose Ann Finkel, they are co-founders of Merchant du Vin, a wine and beer importing company. Bert Grant, founder of Yakima Brewing and Malting Company. Ken Grossman, founder of Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, which that one isn't small.
Right,
but maybe
I
it
don't
is.
think it is.
I mean,
it's
it's
hard
been
to tell
acquired.
with that name. Yeah.
Yeah. Jim Koch, or Koch, I'm not sure how they pronounce their last name. Founder of Boston Beer Company. Freddie Maytag. You can't actually see those names because my big head is in the way. There you go.
That's right.
Fritz Maytag, longtime owner of Anchor Brewing. Jack McAuliffe, co-founder of New Albion Brewing. Susie Stern, co-founder of New Albion Brewing. And Jane Zimmerman, co-founder of New Albion Brewing. So I guess New Albion Brewing really hit it out of the park.
Or it had a lot of co-founders.
Yeah.
But I actually thought this was going to be like the beers that were featured. I mean, this makes sense given other Hall of Fames.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too. Or even more down home craft brewers. But this is because once you get really, I mean, if it's anything beyond a lifestyle business, you'd think that it's, oh no, I didn't put the, did I?
But maybe these were the pioneers in the craft beer industry, at least in the US.
Oh yeah, I didn't do it. Doggone it. What a bummer. So I put the wrong show notes, or I didn't put the show notes into the, into Omatron, but I can real quick, if you don't mind holding on a second.
Let's do it live.
Let's do it live, folks. That's how we do it. Oops. Unless I put them in the wrong spot altogether. Oh my gosh, did I do that? Nope. Okay, hold on, folks. We're gonna do it live. Because we can. Because, you know what? We've got time.
We're on Ohmtown time.
Yeah, nothing follows, so.
Who knows what time is next on the clock?
That's right. Okay, bunk. Okay, now I will do Omatron exclamation point NSN. And now those are the right ones. Okay, well, sorry about that, folks. Anyway, let's go on. The next article is over in Mobile, and it's about that asteroid that will almost certainly not hit us now. So that asteroid almost certainly won't hit us now. So yeah, about that
Well,
asteroid.
that was a lot of to do about the asteroid, right? Like it's like, oh, it's getting kind of close. Oh, it's worse.
It was quite the roller coaster. I was actually talking to um, uh, a doctor, a shadow, like a doctor that's shadowing a doctor, and so
Like a resident or something.
yeah, there you go. That's what it is, a resident. And so I was talking with the resident, and they were like, "Yeah, I'm kind of hoping," and I'm like, "Wow, are you talking to patients that way?" And they're
Yeah,
like,
that's not a good way to.
"Yeah," and I'm like, "Probably shouldn't be talking to patients that way. You don't know what their demeanor is." But I thought that was an entertaining conversation that I
Yeah.
had. Anyway, so the odds have decreased yet again, and so significantly that we're now at a near 0% chance of getting whacked by some space junk. So phew or boo, because this was a city killer apparently, not a planet killer. Louis Prada over at Vice.com put the article together. At
So
one
you
point,
just hope you're not in the affected city. I mean,
yeah, I mean, like I had said to that doctor, well, it's probably going to hit water if it hits anything. And I said,
that's
so
true. Most of the earth is water. Yeah.
just don't be on a coastline in Kentucky. So,
Because it knocks some of the coast off or something.
I mean, the wave is going to be pretty tremendous.
Oh, okay. Yeah, got it.
So it seemed like we were on the march toward inevitability when suddenly the odds started downshifting. The odds have yet decreased again and again. Just a few days ago, there was a 3.1% chance. I had heard that it was 3.3 or something, 3.4 at one point. Anyway, maybe it was always 3.1, but it's always gone down from there. So the number kept going up, which was a little concerning or disconcerting. But now they're saying that it's probably 0.005% chance of hitting the Earth, which means that for every 20,000 simulations ran, the Earth got hit one time. Oh, all right.
I mean, all it takes is one hit.
Well, at least for the people in. And then we have to
in
go
that
and.
city or in
Yeah.
that part of the ocean.
And then we have to build ships and go and fight the bugs. And we'll always remember Buenos Aires. Never mind.
Wow. Poor Buenos Aires in this scenario.
That's right. So don't worry, everybody. Taxes are still due.
Did you see the few or boo?
Yeah. Phew or boo. Oh. Let's keep going. The next article is over in WarCrafters. Valheim fan recreates Lord of the Rings locations in Valheim.
Some people have too much time on their hands.
I guess if you're doing what you love, a Valheim player has shared a video highlighting their recreations, not recreations, but recreations. I guess the recreations of the recreations.
The recreational
recreations.
Yeah. It's hard to say.
Get all caught up in the game. Anyway, they've rebuilt Lord of the Rings in the games like Moria, Minas Tirith, and Rohan. Lord of the Rings has inspired many fantasy worlds, including this particular Valheim player's build. Clayton
Now,
Sear?
does Valheim look like Lord of the Rings in terms of the setting?
No, not particularly. No, I don't think so. I don't think that it has enough like land mass plains style to be Rohan, and I don't think that it can really. I don't know. I now I gotta see. Oh, I can't actually see them. If there is art there. 1 year ago they started building Middle Earth. Here's what they have so far. You'll be able to go if you go into the if you follow the link through ohmTown and go over to Game Rant. Anyway, let's do this the normal way that we always do these articles. It's over at GameRant.com. It's by Clayton Sear. And about a year ago, a person started building their Valheim world a la Lord of the Rings. That's what it was inspired by. So they started building it. They say here that gamers have shared many incredible Valheim builds, including a World of Warcraft-inspired planes, Thor's hammer, and impressive bakery. Beyond the standard survival mode, players can strictly focus on creativity in hammer mode. This mode lifts resource restrictions and pacifies typically hostile enemies. I like Valheim, but it drives me nuts because it's non-stop attack.
Oh, okay.
You're always
Kind of
being
frenetic.
attacked. Yeah, I mean, there's very little downtime if you actually go out exploring. So I was always getting my butt handed to me. So at any rate, the video they have showcases key Lord of the Rings places like Bree, Buckleberry Ferry, Edoras, Isengard, Lothlorien, Moria, Minas Tirith, Orthanc, which I don't remember that, Rivendell, Rohan, and Weathertop. And then the Reddit user also replaced Balrog from Moria with a Valheim Dead Razor summon, while another player seemingly represents the Odin of Rohan. The world is also populated with horses thanks to a mod, which may or may not require access to the map. I don't know. But they provide an additional touch to the Lord of the Rings area because Rohan had a whole lot of horses. That's what it was known for. The Riders of Rohan. So yeah, Valheim mods like Infinity Hammer and Gizmo Tool were used to remove limitations from the building process. Vanilla assets were used to recreate or create each setting, each location. But I don't know how many of these are from the build or from just standard. These look like standard artwork.
I couldn't get to the article separately to see the separate artwork.
Oh, really? Wow, that's weird. Huh. Well, we'll let you go and follow it. You can actually go there. It's the third link in our playlist. So, I'll copy it and paste it again in the chat. So if you are interested in it, you can go and check it out. Doink. All right. So let's go on to the next article. The next article is over in Technology Today. Scientists just found a major problem with vitamin B12 guidelines and your brain might be at risk. I thought this one was interesting because a lot of people take a lot of vitamin B12. It's supposed to provide energy. So it says your brain may not be getting enough B12, even if your levels are considered normal. A new study suggests that older adults with lower B12, even within the accepted range, show signs of cognitive decline and brain damage. Researchers found that these individuals had slower thinking and reaction times, along with white matter lesions, which...
That doesn't sound good. That's not what you want on your brain.
Yeah, you don't want your doctor to look at your various medical records and go, interesting. This is very interesting. Intriguing, even. And as they stack those interesting and intriguing style words, you're going to have a weird prognosis. Anyway, University of California, San Francisco put this article together over at scitechdaily.com. And so, yeah, researchers found that these individuals had slower thinking and reaction times, along with white matter lesions linked to dementia. That was the sentence that I didn't finish. That's basically the deck statement. Talk about burying the lead. So your cognitive decline might be based on B12 insufficiency, even though you're following guidelines.
They might be time to update the guidelines.
Yeah. So, guess we'll see. A study led by researchers at the University of California, San Francisco found that healthy older adults with lower B12 levels showed signs of neurological and cognitive decline. These individuals had more damage to the brain's white matter, the nerve fibers that enable different parts of the brain to communicate, and performed worse on tests measuring cognitive and visual processing speeds compared to those with higher B12 levels. And this is
Did it say how far apart the gulf is?
Not so far. The study was published in the Annals of Neurology on February 10th. So They say revisiting the definition of B12 deficiency to incorporate functional biomarkers could lead to earlier intervention and prevention of cognitive decline. So, there were 231 healthy participants without dementia or mild cognitive impairment whose average age was 71. They were recruited through the Brain Aging Network for Cognitive Health, or BRANCH, study at UCSF. Their blood B12 amounts averaged 414.8 moles per liter, well above the U.S. minimum of 148. Adjusted for factors like age, sex, education, cardiovascular risks, researchers looked at the biologically active component of B12, which provides a more accurate measure of the amount of vitamin that the body can utilize. So they just said that participants with lower active B12 were found to have slower processing speed relating to subtle cognitive decline, amplified by age.
What's interesting is the average level is, of course, well above, like way above the normal limits.
Yeah, so it says their B12 amounts averaged 400. I'm gonna round up 415, which is like 3 times what is listed, at least
Exactly.
around
Now
3
I get
times.
that some of them would have been lower, but still, that's kind of concerning.
So where they don't actually have any of the data, I'd have to pull the actual journal report, but they don't show or say any other statistical information in this article, like were people down at the 148 level actually that more cognitively declined than.
Exactly. I'd love to see that data.
Yeah, because there could be a 71-year-old that's sitting there with 1,200 parts, and then there's somebody else at 75, not age but 75 parts, and
Right.
their cognitive decline is demonstrable but not so significant that you have to do megadoses of B12.
Right.
But B12 has other factors, but it's about accessing energy as well. But it's an interesting data point. So, because I take a lot of supplements and I don't eat a lot of calories, and this actually is like an indicator for me when I get blood work done. I like to know what this is actually represented in my blood work so I can see if I need to adjust anything. So it's an interesting take on things. These are some of the things you can get B12 from, by
I
the way.
hope they do some follow-up studies or release more data.
Yeah, I find it pretty interesting. Okay, let's keep going. And if you are in chat and you have any questions or comments, throw them in chat. I'm happy to answer them. So the next article is over in WarCrafters, and as you can tell, it is non sequitur news, and we bounce from one topic to another, and one article doesn't necessarily follow another, and not even my train of thought follows it, because I practice a thing called associative thinking. So this is an article about the 10 best open world games with a focus on absurdity, and they ranked them. This is over at, I think it's Game Rant, yeah. So open world games provide players with expansive virtual environments to get lost in for hours. Games that take care to flesh out their world building and environmental storytelling, such as From Software's Elden Ring or Arcane's Prey, can feel just as tangible as the real world. I'm going to start playing Roadcraft, and that is actually a semi-open world environment. And it's basically taking the internet by storm. So we'll see what happens with it. I don't know how often I'll be able to play it, but and also another one called Pixel Odyssey, I think it's called. Yeah, that's a fun game too. But I just
do you know when you're starting those?
Mayoral duties are keeping me from it, so I'm hoping that I'm going to do some of that tonight. So if you want to watch somebody play a game, then stick around. Follow us, and when I go live, you'll be informed. So, and Roadcraft is a lot of fun, but it's in demo days, so it's limited. That's why I say I don't know how much I can actually play.
Right.
Anyway, so And we have the Summer of Stream coming. It's several months away, but it's basically where Mayor Watt gets to disconnect from, well, reality, hopefully, and I can play games and talk about news and stuff like that more often. Anyway, the article is over at Game Rant. 10 best open world games with a focus on absurdity in it. They ranked them. Number 10 is Goat Simulator. It's a high-tech goat simulation where you actually play as a goat and you do all kinds of weird and wacky things and you get points and stuff. And
I mean, as a goat, do you get to hop around? That's one of the things that goats are known for.
that's exactly what you do. Yep. Deadly Premonition. It says Bizarro Alan Wake. I've never played this game. It says Deadly Premonition is infamous among the gaming community for its sheer amount of jank. So if you're into jank, Deadly Premonition. The Sinking City is a Lovecraftian insanity, it says here. Sinking City's focus is on Lovecraftian horror, means the game is naturally brimming with a host of absurd and existential nightmares. Another Crab's Treasure is a Crabs-like, Souls-like. It's a crab with a gun, I guess. I don't know. Oh, it's a
Sign me up.
weird. Yeah, I guess you have to run around on the ocean floor and kick butt. So Aggro Crab lives up to their name with another Crab's Treasure. It's a lighthearted take on a Souls-like genre that sees players taking control of Krill, a hermit crab traveling the ocean in search of his shell after being evicted from it. Oh no. Wow. Then Borderlands 3, Psychos in Space. It's part of the Borderlands franchise. It says arguably the most well known for its crude humor. Their Breath Edge just released Breath Edge 2, which isn't in this, but if you want something that's even more modern, Breath Edge has that kind of irreverent humor kind of thing. In recent years, the franchise's writing has begun to grate on some fans, but now finds its jokes juvenile and repetitive. I don't know. Not everybody's humor is the same.
I guess it depends on your audience, right?
Yeah, for sure. So Sunset Overdrive, Energy Drink Apocalypse, it says here. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, Zombie Shopping Spree. Fallout New Vegas. That is basically an internet favorite. Everybody really likes that, even though it came out 14 years ago, 15 years ago now. Fallout franchise 1960 inspired apocalypse is often used as a parody of the real world and the capitalist doomsday it's hurtling towards. As a result, a lot of quests and characters satirically poke fun at a society in a number of ways. Absurd ways.
Is that one enjoying a resurgence because of the TV show?
Yes. Yeah, so is the online version of it. Saints Row 4, it says Superhero Madness. Saints Row franchise was already growing in absurdity with each new installment, but it's the fourth entry that really dialed it in. Player being elected as president after stopping a terrorist attack before the White House is attacked by aliens. Over the top. Then, of course, Baldur's Gate 3 kind of crushed it. They set the bar so high that AAA gaming companies essentially revolted and said, well, we refuse to, this is irrationally good, so we're never gonna
like, we can't be good. I mean, come on,
we can't be this good, it's not possible, it doesn't make economic sense, essentially was what AAA gaming said in response to Baldur's Gate 3. It says plays a fairly serious RPG with an epic fantasy narrative and deep companion stories. That doesn't mean the game never lets down its hair, however. Larian takes advantage of the absurd aspects of the Dungeons and Dragons lore where they can. Between their adventures to remove a mind flayer parasite from their brains, players can encounter a secret society of amphibian humanoids who call for the sacrifice of one of their companions, take on an unassuming frog with the power to one-shot their party, or be sent to an island full of dinosaur-like creatures. The list does go on. There is a scene with a bear and a squirrel watching, so it is rather absurd.
Yeah, it sounds a little different.
I didn't plan this, but our last article is D&D related, but that number one there. Anyway, go and check this
Okay.
out. It's over
So
at
there
Game
is a
Rant.
little bit of theming and non sequitur news.
No, because that's just one little thing. Can't force it. So the next article is over on Reality Hacker. Steam Next Fest has started today. Yay! February 25th brings PC VR space shooters, puzzle games, and more. Just go over to Steam. If you haven't logged in recently, log in. If you hit refresh and it doesn't refresh, you have to close the application and load it back up. But I've already downloaded about 15 demos. It's just insane, and my style of demos. So I'm not trying something weird out that I know that I won't like. But this,
Well, then you'd have too many.
yeah. And this runs. Hold on. Let me make sure the time frame that this thing
I think
runs.
early March, doesn't it?
Well, it's right now. It goes from now until March 3rd. Yeah, so it started today at 10 a.m. Or 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. So now live until next week, Steam Next Fest is back with its February 2025 edition to celebrate upcoming games. These games are focused on VR because it's at uploadvr.com. Henry Stockdale over at uploadvr.com put the article together, and it says here, on PC VR, these include puzzle sandbox strategy game Wet VR from Super Hyper Mega, who also made Noun Town, Project Arrows, which is currently free on Quest. Retro style arcade shoot 'em up Strato Gun has an optional PC VR support in the demo. Other notable games include futuristic fitness games, Sport Vita Cyber Dash, and VR Vet Simulator Pets and Stuff. And then there's also Golden Kingdom VR, Lumen and Nanite implemented. The upcoming open world action RPG also utilizes world partition while promising photorealistic graphics. I have never heard of Golden Kingdom VR, but I'll have to give it a shot based off of this. And then there's a new demo available for Lush Foil Photography Sim. But while the main game promises optional PC VR, they're currently unsure if it extends into the Steam demo, so I'm not sure why that's even there. But anyway, they've got a whole bunch more.
Oh, wow. Yeah, quite a few.
Yeah. If you're into VR, Alliance Peace Fighter, Crystal Conquest, Forklift Driving Simulator, which is always great because you basically stick your hands out in the middle of space to grab virtual controllers. While you're holding controllers, you move them into a certain spot and grab your whatever the controls are for your forklift. And then the others I've already talked about. So Project Nova, Pets and Stuff, etc., etc. So get your VR headset all charged up and spend a few hours in Next Fest. Want to keep going?
Sure.
So the next article is over in Technology Today. 8BitDo's M Edition Retro Mechanical Keyboard is 40% off right now. This is I'm really into mechanical keyboards. I've got a few of them, but I don't have 8BitDo's M Edition Retro Mechanical Keyboard. Probably won't be buying it right now, but anyway, the deal is part of a larger sale on Woot. Jeremy Gann put the article together. It's over at Engadget.com. And they have another keyboard and controller like this for Nintendo, but this is the M Edition. And they say that
is that for gaming with the other piece?
I'm not sure what you use this for, but it's the AB buttons for just mashing.
Yeah,
and
like
they're
the
programmable.
Switch or something. Yeah.
So it's a newer version of the Retro 108 mechanical keyboard without the number pad that ships with a pair of programmable super buttons, which resemble gigantic versions of the AB buttons of an old game controller. So this one doesn't have the number pad, so it's an 87 key keyboard that's top mounted hot swappable PCBs, so you can pull the switches, making it perfect for enthusiasts who like to tinker with the keyboards. 3 connection modes: wired, wireless, 2.4, and Bluetooth. Says you can use the top left knob to swap between them, but most people I know leave it in one. Anyway,
Yeah, probably easier.
so it says it's down to $60 from 100, so it's relatively inexpensive for a retro mechanical keyboard. And 8-bit dues, I've always liked all of the stuff that they make. Even though I don't have their keyboard, I like the look and feel and all of that kind of stuff of their gear.
Yeah.
So
It
anyway.
also says they have some video games that are for sale in this larger sale.
Yeah, the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom down to 45. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is down to 42. Go over and check out the rest of this. There's always more in the article that you might like to suss out. But we're going to keep on going. We got 2 more articles. This next one is about Balatro. Balatro is essentially a gambling game. I mean, it's basically playing poker, but you're not playing for money. And so I've never quite understood why this is so controversial as calling it gambling, because it doesn't follow gambling rules, really. But anyway, Balatro is no longer rated 18 plus in Europe because it appealed to the Pan-European Game Information Rating System and got it knocked down to PEGI 12 from 18. So now anybody who says it's for 18 and older now it's down to 12.
Right.
Indie super
I
hit.
guess that's good for adoption.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be able to extend further, and marketing isn't going to have to be as strict and regulated and stuff like that in Europe. But so it's no longer the same pan-European game information rating as Grand Theft Auto 5 in Europe. Last year, the card game received the adult PEGI 18 plus rating due to its poker gameplay and rules. But thanks to a successful appeal, Balatro's rating has been lowered to PEGI 12. Zach Zweisen over at Kotaku.com put the article together, and they have been going gangbusters. Balatro is like an internet fan favorite, and it's doing mashups with other IPs, so the cards are getting branded to those other IPs.
Oh, smart. Yeah. Crossover fans.
Yeah. And so it's on consoles, PC, mobile. Isn't a game about gambling and doesn't include any violence or real money transactions, but that didn't stop PEGI from randomly, with no warning, raising it from 3 plus to 18 plus. However, the American equivalent is the ESRB, changing a game's rating from E to M. Well, now finally PEGI has realized how silly it was to rate it at 18 plus, but only lowered it to 12 plus. Yeah, I don't know why they would still keep it at 12 plus, other than you need some pretty strong cognitive function to sit there and manage a game like this. Otherwise, you're just mashing.
Right, just clicking things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's more in the article, but it says over on the PEGI site, the group confirmed that it had lowered Balatro's rating as well as the rating of Luck Be a Landlord, a game that featured slot machines and directly inspired Balatro for similar reasons. The complaints board concluded that although Balatro explains the various hands of poker, the roguelike deck-building game contained mitigating fantastical elements that warranted a PEGI 12 rating, according to the board. I cannot play this game very well. I guess some people are really good at it, but I apparently suck at this game.
Yeah, but there's probably some luck elements in here too.
Yeah, I mean the roguelike elements of it, but I don't quite get that, because you don't build on top of anything other than by selecting a deck with a certain modifier included, but then there's all of these cards that get dealt. Those cards impact how you can play in the game. You're very rarely playing a normal hand of poker, and there is no real money transactions at all. So again, I don't know why they would get the 18 rating, let alone even the 12, but shouldn't even have a rating in my opinion. But I suck at it. So regardless of the rating, that is immutable apparently.
That's the fact here.
Yep. All right, let's keep going. This is our last article, and it's probably the most abstract from everything that we talk about here. today because it's about a 23-year-old uh, module, basically Neverwinter Nights. A 23-year-old Dungeons and Dragons RPG, Neverwinter Nights, just got a new official expansion that continues its original story in a love letter to the game and its community. It's not every
What
day that you.
happened during that 23 years?
Yeah, it. I liken stuff like this to America Online, AOL. It built up and was a juggernaut. It basically cornered the market and then just slid off the face of the earth, but it had a whole lot of kinetic energy. It was still making profit. And so they just rode the wave. Well, Neverwinter Nights was like that. Everybody really loved it. It's not every day that an expansion for a 23-year-old game shows up, but thanks to its undying community, Neverwinter Nights isn't just any game. With a level of support and fan-made content that calls to mind the likes of Doom or Thief, with the blessing of Wizards of the Coast, fantasy author, RPG developer, and Neverwinter Nights enthusiast Luke Skull has released Doom of Icewind Dale, the first act of a sequel campaign to Neverwinter Nights, as an official $10 expansion. Now, there's a lot to unpack there, but mainly Wizards of the Coast said, yeah, go ahead and add something. Never would I have thought that somebody else, like IP is always siloed within major companies, but I guess this one was okay. Doom of Icewind Dale is the first entry in a planned series to augment Neverwinter Nights. It's an article by Ted Litchfield over at PCGamer.com. So it's set some years after the events of the original Neverwinter Nights campaign and promises 10 to 15 plus hours of mid to high level 3rd edition D&D questing in the Forgotten Realms' notorious Icy Waste Adventure Special Economic Zone, Icewind Dale. Rounding out the value, Doom of Icewind Dale introduces new monsters, portraits, music, and a narrated intro sequence to set the stage.
I bet people are excited about this.
Yeah, I'm amazed. So BioWare's Neverwinter Nights is incredibly weird little RPG that is somewhat compromised by an identity crisis at its core, but in a funky, interesting old school RPG way that only makes the author love it even more. Again, this is by Ted Litchfield over at PCGamer.com. So to me, this is a computer D&D first-person RPG, and these older remakes and stuff like that to me always come across kind of janky. So I'd love to watch somebody play it, but it's not my style of game. Neverwinter Nights.
I think it depends on what you're looking for, and if you've been waiting 23 years, you're really excited about this.
Yeah, if you're waiting 23 years, and this is actually something that's been on your radar for 23 years, then you're probably overcome with sweat at this point. But like, I haven't paid attention to Neverwinter Nights or Icewind Dale or pretty much any of this since it originally dropped, which actually kind of puts a date on me. Well, anyway, Skull, an author and developer of Ossian Studios, currently also working on Pathfinder: The Dragon's Demand, got his start in games modding Neverwinter Nights, creating a loose trilogy of adventures that form their own Zero to Hero campaign: Siege of Shadowdale, Crimson Tides of Tether, and Tyrants of Moonsea. At Ossian, Skull was also lead dev on the final official expansion pack to Obsidian's Neverwinter Nights 2, Mysteries of Westgate. So there you go, folks. Go and check it all out. They say
Was this timed with all the Steam stuff? I don't think so. I mean, because it's not VR. It just happens to be
no
going on at the same time.
And the Steam stuff isn't VR. It just happens to be that there were a whole bunch of demos.
Right. I thought this one was VR themed because it seemed like that was the focal point.
Oh, no. This article doesn't have anything to do with the VR thing. It just happens to be a game. But this article actually came out and isn't tied to the um,
To Next Fest.
Next Fest at all. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know if they were doing it because all of that. Like sometimes that breeds
Yeah.
more stuff in competitors and everything.
Yeah. It kind of motivates. Well, because Steam goes out to people and says, hey, if you got anything coming, you better get ready because we're going to do Steam Next Fest. So it says Doom of Icewind Dale lets you start with a fresh guy, but what better excuse to once again replay the original campaign that they were just slagging off, but still secretly cherish. So there you go. You can start it all over again. The author of this is playing Avowed, which a lot of people online are doing still, but there are so many demos out right now. Go and check them all out. And while you do that, I am going to reset. Oh, let's see. I'm going to cast a spell that's going to blink me from Neverwinter Nights to, or Icewind Dale, to the front page of ohmtown.com, where you can go and become a citizen, and then you can sift through the news like us, and you can even help facilitate articles for the show by sending us links and letting us know that you're interested in a particular topic. That said, we're done for the day. This is the fastest that I think an hour-long show has gone down. So maybe I should just drag my feet. No?
No, let's just wrap it up.
All right. Well, that's it for tonight. I am Mayor Watt saying goodnight, and I'm taking the AI with me. You want to go?
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for today's Non Sequitur News. Be back tomorrow for another episode, and stay tuned to see if Mayor Watt starts streaming later.
Yeah, be sure to follow us here on Twitch and over on YouTube. That's where you're going to get notified when I go live. I'm hoping that I can tonight, but we'll see. So stick around. Thanks, and I'll see you maybe soon. Bye.